in my Peter Griffin voice, this really grinds my gears.
Right.
Tipping is tipping out of control. My first answer is yes, and I will let you have it.
Man, absolutely, it's out of control, and the reason it's out of control is not the amount or even the amount of stuff. It's that we turn around and find out that these companies are using those tips to substitute or suppress wages. Right?
Yes.
I mean, yes, I don't need to tip on a pickup order. I don't need to tip on to go order groceries that I went and all you did was put them in the bag and I came and picked them up. I don't know how many different scenarios you can flip an iPad around and ask me for a tip when I went and picked up a cup of yogurt at a hotel and paid for it myself. Like, what did you do? You didn't even stick your hand in the refrigerator. But when we
Correct.
find out that they're, either pocketing the money and or suppressing wages or using this to pay some of the wages, insane. So I mean, absolutely, it's time to be done with it, like the European countries are. Pay a fair wage, and now we know what that steak dinner, that Admiral's Feast at Red Lobster is going to cost.
But for me, it's the pressure that they put on you. It's tip your wage. And look, I believe in tipping, but I also believe in the service because my tipping scale, it starts out high. And I
Yeah.
will tip you and it starts high. But you know what? If your service is bad, it goes down, down, down. Because you can only get worse, in my opinion. If I go somewhere and I'm going to tip you for the service, it'll start high and it can stay high. But if the
Right.
service is bad, I'm going to tip you accordingly. I don't believe in, oh, well, no matter what, I'm tipping 20%, 25%. Absolutely not. I'm
Yeah.
out on that.
Yeah, and this whole thing that the guilt, right? To flip the iPad around and you have to make me option into no tip. I tell you what, assume it's no tip and I'll have the option to pay 15, 18, 20. Now it starts at what, 20, 22, 25%. It is insane. And this altruistic society that we pretend to live in, get out of here. Let me see that person go home from making that coffee and tip the DoorDash person the same way that they're expecting to get tipped. And I'm going to say they can't. So let's
Right.
stop.
Well, and it's also, with the Uber order or whatever order, the pizza order, they'll charge you and then they charge you a delivery fee. And I'm like, okay, so you charge me a delivery fee, but then on top of that, then you're asking me to tip too? So what was the delivery fee for? Am I paying you to put my pizza in a box or something like that? I mean,
Well,
what's the delivery fee for? And then why do I have to tip on top of that? Because that's what drives me insane.
right. Well, the delivery fee, I think the secret's out. You're covering all of the increased cost of goods for the
Yes.
box, the car, all that
Yes.
stuff, and then I'm tipping the guy too. So it's absolutely crazy. We got some folks, when we get around to it, Big Dog, in the comments that are going nuts on the tipping. The automatic gratuity. I mean, okay, six or more. I tell you what, we'll break up into 3 tables of 2. Is it any easier? Absolutely not. That's insane. I get it. Big parties and people will dine and ditch or not pay their fair wage. But 6, 8 people, you're going to hit me with an 18 and then not say anything. Just put that
Correct.
line behind it or below it that says additional tip, right? Which
Yes.
hella pause on the additional tip. But no, that's it. You chose what you were going to get and it was lower than I was going to give you, but I can't do it.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we got one here from Rebecca Elledge. And don't ask me to give a tip on a bottle of water at the airport. Yes, they will do
Yeah.
that. You go
Yeah.
get a bottle of water, and they always got the tip line in there. I'm like, hold on a second. If first of all, it's a bottle of water that I got, or you turned around and picked up, and now you're asking me for a tip for that too. Come on, people. What are we doing here? What are
Yep.
we doing? It's
Yeah.
absolutely out of control. It's just, again, for me, look, I'm a big dude. I like pizza. I have literally decided if I'm ordering pizza, number one, I'm going to the grocery store and I'll just buy one and make it. Or number two, I drive to the place and pick it up. I'm out on trying to give these people a tip because the first time that one of those drivers, I tip them something and they look at me crazy, I'm going to have a problem and Big B's going to end up in jail because I'm going to have a problem because it's just out of control.
Yeah, I don't know how many people have worked in the service industry before now or in commission sales. Like it used to be an indicator of your service. And I think that we're living in a time where like, oh, service isn't what it used to be. Of course. Why would I have to when it's auto? Why would I have to when it's auto? You can't even, you can't even yell my name out at Starbucks with any sort of enthusiasm. Chris, oh man, I couldn't hear you, but you sure turned that iPad around fast as hell, right? I'm out.
Yes.
I'm absolutely out. So I think the services decline is with that, and I think we're seeing it. So
Yes. My man Curtis Johnson, 100% the credit card processing companies have championed this tip movement. They
oh
absolutely
yeah,
have. Because they're in on it because what are they doing? They keep upping their percentage that they charge the stores. It used to be 1.5%. Now it's 2.5%, 3.5%. Pretty soon it's 5% that they're charging that these stores for every process. So then you got to add on. It's just out of control. It's out of control, man. I can't do it. I can't.
yeah. Is that the same Curtis Johnson that was all about Red Lobster on one of our
Yes,
other
sir.
podcasts? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Hey, well, let them know that they have 150 people. No, 500 people this week got Endless Lobster. I don't know if you saw that as a promo to try to bring us back to Red Lobster. But yeah, I'm 100% out on that place. You know what I'm saying?
No, we're going back. We're going back, but we got to
Ugh,
dress up. We can go on a Friday night. I don't care, but we have to go. We have to dress. We might even rent a tux. Rent
yeah.
rent a pink tux. I will rent a lavender tux, and we're going. We're going because that's the only way you can really go to Red Lobster, isn't it?
Yeah, well, you can get a top hat and a cane, but no, I think I'm out, man. I think that talk about a place where the service has gone downhill. I can't even pick the lucky feller out of the tank when I walk in. I used to just try to find my victim, you know what I'm saying? Whoever had the strongest rubber bands, I was like, yeah, he's got some good meat. Get that guy, right? But no, not anymore. So
Pause. Lord have mercy with the good meat. What
it
is
was a, lo-
wrong
it was
with
a,
you
it was a
tonight?
lobster. It was a lobster. My gosh.
Golly. Man,
Yeah,
this is wild. Just wild and out of
my
control.
bad. My bad.
We got one here. CC is on to something. I'm not pissed for tipping the wait staff, but the company using it to subsidize pay is insane. I worked at it. Yeah. So I get it.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. I don't like people giving you compliments, but every now and then we'll
Well,
let
when
it we'll let it slide, man.
When
We will
you're
let it
right,
slide.
and I think that the Mr. Elledge said twice in there that I've been scoring some points.
He's
So
lying.
I'm really trying to win that end of the podcast poll this time. I'm really motivated. But no, I mean, absolutely, man. We found out that they're all still waiting. They're all still subsidizing that pay, suppressing those wages well below minimum wage, and you found you were the one that told me about it. Who was it that was splitting the tips? Through the managers, and who
Hard
was that?
eight. It was hard
Yes,
eight.
Hard Eight Barbecue. Thank you. Unbelievable.
Yes, I
So,
mean, that is about as dirty and underhanded as
yeah,
it gets. You are splitting the tips with managers that are already getting wages, a full salary, and you're using that to subsidize and say, "Oh, well, they were doing more than what we were actually paying them." She literally said that in her interview, and I'm like, "Oh my god." I mean, just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Here's the last one, man. Josh Tuckers have picked up my lawnmower from getting serviced, and they charge a $3 environmental fee. I mean, what? I mean, an environmental fee for coming and picking up a lawnmower that you
well,
fixed.
hold on.
Where does it
Hold on
end,
now.
Chris?
Hold on. So, Josh, let me help you out, big dog. At the risk of throwing off one of my voters to win this thing, an environmental fee is not the same as a tip. The fee is what they have to do when they have to recycle oil or gasoline, and that's a federal mandate that's placed on them. So they're just passing it on from from the government. So again, I of course I disagree. You probably paid $100 to fix a lawnmower. They could have buried that $3 in there. I agree that should have been on there, but an environmental or recycling fee and a tip, major differences.
Hold
Again,
on.
we're getting feed to death, but tipping culture is the first thing I'm talking about, and that is the pure option for me to include a gratuity, not extra fees, because I can opt out of some of those, and or they are mandated. So
Now,
just
I
putting that
thought
out there.
we were going to be done, Chris, but we're not done. Somebody came in. First of all, they're using a false advertising trying to use my name. But which is you? I always tip 54%. I don't mind tipping 45%. I never tip zero. So 54% is now the norm. Is that what you're saying? Get the hell out of here.
I think that again, they turned that iPad around because most people are doing it. They make no tip the last option because not a lot of people are doing it. We're the problem. So I'm going to tell you guys, I'm not even going to tell you don't or stop tipping. I'm going to start tipping less. 22% for handing me a cup of coffee, 23% for DoorDash, and 25% for, absolutely shit service. Absolutely not. I'm gonna start hitting you with that 10%er like my mom used to back in the day. We'd be at El Chico and she'd say, Chris, what's 10% of the bill? And I'd be like, $2. And she's like, that's what they get. And she put that tip in cash. So we knew the waitress got it. So, tip less, that's all I'm saying.
Here's the thing is, and again, we'll end it on this, is the person that I really feel sorry for is the Sonic worker. Because I feel like the Sonic workers are out there, they're working. First of all, it's usually a bunch of teenagers.
Right.
And they're out there either on roller skates or something, a skateboard or doing something out there. But if I go there and I get a Route 44 and that's all that I get and it's $2, I mean, am I supposed to give them another $2 on top of that? I don't think so. I don't think so, Chris. Yeah, I don't do it.
Absolutely not. And I tell you what, Sonic could turn it around, right? Put a QR code on the skates, put a Cash App or something on the skates, and I'm going to hit those kids with extra money. But now it's tough because you don't always have cash. You feel crappy, and kid carried a $44 order out from Sonic the other day. That was my bad. I got, there's a new truffle nut cluster blast, and you can hit as many pauses as you like in that, but it was delicious. And,
Lord have mercy.
And so after I got through with happy hour at Sonic and spent a daily wage, I felt like I couldn't give the kid any money. So if he'd have skated out there and had a QR code or, a link in the bio or something like that, I could have hit him with a couple because he hustled.